the video. Watch the video.
Jamaicans who are now in the process of applying for immigrant visas.
Yes.
Their lives are now upended.
Yes. When I was growing up, which is not so long ago, all of my friends wanted to go to the United States. They all wanted to migrate. And even when I was at university, all of my friends wanted to migrate. They just could not see a future here in Jamaica. I never took that view. I thought I would stay in Jamaica, I would work in Jamaica, and I will make the best for my people and my country. It is not that they were unpatriotic and I was somehow superior in my patriotism. No, I think there was just a sense of frustration with the nation. And I think that sense of frustration would have carried for many decades and many generations. And it was in the interest of receiving countries for many years to use Jamaican labor, to use Jamaican talent, to build their GDP. When I became Prime Minister second time around, I visited Cayman. And I was in Cayman, they were having a celebration there, and they invited me to be a guest. And it struck me that more than half of the population in Cayman could claim either being Jamaican or having Jamaican heritage. A developed society that relies on Jamaican talent. It's not just Cayman. You can go all around the Caribbean, you can go all around the world and see what Jamaican talent has accomplished when paired with good government and opportunity. So the problem was never the people. The problem was always what governments do and the opportunity they create. Somebody has to stay here and fix government and create opportunity. Because it is not always going to be in the interest of the receiving country to have immigration. Because remember, they received immigration on the basis that it was a net benefit to their economy. Now, I cannot make any prescription as to how Americans or any other society view immigration. No, whether or not it's a net benefit to their society, whether or not it helps with not just diversity, but with innovation and the cost of labor and so forth. So that's a political decision for another sovereign country. My job is to create good government and opportunity so that people can make their economic decision not just on a moral position of patriotism, but on the ability to feed their family. This does not happen with a snap of a finger or overnight. Okay? So if you were to take some of the pain points that will push people to migrate, the ability to get a job, then a good salary, infrastructure, not just roads, but world-class infrastructure. You want to be able to go to the cinema, go to good restaurants. You want to be able to have, good landscape and streetscapes to feel like you're enjoying modernity and you don't have to leave here to go somewhere else. The place is clean, so good healthcare, good education, and of course, a peaceful society. Now let's look at all of those things. Lowest unemployment rate in Jamaica's history since my administration. We are practically full employment. All right, so the employment issue is not a problem now. The problem is we just can't find people to work. Why? Because there's heavy migration. And as you have heard, the birth rate is below replacement. So these are social issues on the horizon that we have to address, all right, if our economy is to grow. The issue of higher wages. Higher wages don't just come because I am demanding higher wages. Higher wages are tied to productivity. Productivity is tied to innovation and the integration of technology. And that means better management, that means higher skills. So to get higher wages, you have to get higher skills, higher innovation, and better strategic management of resources. We're working on that. Then let's look at crime. Clearly, that is where we have made the biggest impact. We have reduced murders which is the ultimate expression, the ultimate form of violence. And we're keeping that down. And the objective now is to attain peace. But peace is not the absence of conflict, but peace is the resolution of conflict.
Okay, so Mr. Prime Minister, it is that your administration has successfully been dealing with the push factors that would drive people to look towards the US.
Yeah, and as I travel, one of the things I get is that people are, I did say, but I'm going to get my Jamaican passport. If you look at the number of applications for Jamaican passport from overseas, it has just increased almost 100-fold, more than that. So people are beginning to look back at Jamaica seriously to come back. Now, for those persons who have, genuinely, there's always a certain number of persons who genuinely want to migrate, they want access, we don't train nuclear scientists here, for example. They might want to take up a course in nuclear science, they have to migrate to whatever it is. So those are persons who are going to be affected by this without a question. And of course, we do have an obligation to pursue the diplomatic channels, but we must always bear in mind that's a sovereign decision by a sovereign country. And, we make no pronouncements on it, other than we will use our diplomatic efforts to restore normalcy. But bear in mind the position. We must build our own country. And we need to stop this kind of view that, it's so easy to say, there's a kind of cynicism, but this is no reality.
Mm-hmm.
Other countries may very well follow suit. There is a growing public view in many developed countries. I don't know if Jamaicans follow international affairs, but you're seeing a growing trend for countries to want to stem immigration. So we need to look.
If there's no enthusiasm on your part to really lobby the Trump administration.
Oh, no, that's not what I've said. That's not what I've said.
Jamaicans to be exerted.
No, that's not what I've said. I've said we will pursue diplomatic channels.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely will do that. But we are going to pursue even more, making our country the place of choice to live, work, do business, raise families, and retire in paradise. I think that is a greater objective than we must